Welcome back to the Fix Washington Podcast, and we are on the road in the 14th Legislative District in Wapato, and I'm here with my good friend and freshman, State Representative Deb Manjarrez. Deb, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming out to Wapato today.
So tell us a little bit about your recent opinion editorial. You wrote it about the drug crisis happening in Washington State, and it got a huge statewide attention. What are you hearing from your own district?
Well, what I've been hearing from my own district for a very long time is that the existing plan does not work. We've tied the hands of police and EMTs and that sort of thing. And so I am on the substance abuse committee that meets interimly, and it's not working. We have to move closer towards involuntary treatment for some. We're waiting for the substance abuse user. I mean, we've seen the horrific sidewalks, and people that live here, the families are begging for help. We have to help these people more than just wait until, because you think about it, they are in a drug-induced, their mind is not in a position to make a decision for their good health outcomes. And I think we're moving. The response from the op-ed was huge, and I'm hearing from, like I said, police, EMTs, people in the drug treatment arena. These are people that are working with them all the time, and we're finally coming around to we need to be doing closer to that.
Well, and I think your op-ed made a lot of sense to a lot of people because it talks about whether or not a person who is using drugs has the competency to actually make the right decisions to go into treatment. And you brought that up regarding some involuntary treatment and making sure that these people get the help they need, but also the state needs to do a better job building the infrastructure, the beds, to actually take care of them.
Absolutely. And we have not focused on that. We do. We need to have beds available today in every county. And I think we need to redirect funding out of Olympia for that. Yeah. The Housing First money is not worked. All we've done is house these people and allow them, some of them, to die in those rooms. And no, we need to redirect it. That needs to be our focus. It's going to cost us anyway. We need to really, truly do something to help these people.
Yeah. Well, and you've also been a leader on other issues, especially dealing with our youth and DCYF and the problems we're having with placements and how the state's dealing with some of these at-risk youths.
The Keeping Families Together Act. And don't you love how they always give them really great names? I love to keep families together too, but I'm not for leaving children in homes that it's a high likelihood that of neglect and abuse. We have children dying, and I've got social workers, the ones that are on the ground, trying to help those provide services to those families, telling me we have to change that law. They can't, that law tied their hands, and they can't pull children out of those homes that they know they're in severe danger. Fentanyl use in the home. You're not going to believe this, but they actually, a DCYF says, give the parents a little lockbox and lock up your drugs and try not to do it when the kids are in the living room. Are you kidding me? And people don't know it. I mean, after it came out of session, it was almost like a did you know tour, educating the people, the real life laws that are on the books and how they affect their lives every day.
Yeah. Well, and you're just coming out of your first year. You've tackled some pretty hefty issues. We just talked about the drug crisis and keeping children with families and some of the dangers of that, and making sure we have safeguards. But you heard the same State of the State address from the governor that I heard, which was all about agencies becoming more consumer friendly, about transparency and accountability. Did you see that from the governor's office and House Democrats, or was it a big lie?
No, you're right. I was very hopeful when the governor gave his inaugural speech. He talked specifically about attacking affordability and accountability in permits in every one of the state agencies. And in fact, it has gotten worse under Ferguson and the Democrats. I have people calling me, Department of Licenses, 6 weeks to get a permit issued, even a car dealer's license renewed. No, I've seen, and Ferguson, he has the ability to change that. Yeah. He put those people in those departments. He has the ability to to make those departments more efficient, and it's not happening.
Well, and I know you're working really hard on this issue, because one of the things that some of our constituents don't know is that we have a constituent services angle of our office. A part of our office is when a constituent calls up and says, I'm not getting my license, I'm having trouble with this agency, we step in to try to help out.
Oh, absolutely. And it shouldn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Our constituents shouldn't have to call the state representative to intervene on their behalf with one of the agencies. And the agencies do, they address when we call them and say, take a look at this and we need this fixed. And they do, but everyday people that work in the state should be able to get that same service.
And I know you work really hard on some of these issues, both statewide issues and issues that are important to you locally. But you're also, one of the things that you and your seatmate, Representative Mendoza, did was you secure funding for your district. You push back on bad policy, but you also fight to secure funds to improve your community. Talk a little bit about what you're bringing home to your communities.
No, you're right. It was a very tough session. On the operating budget, most people don't know this, but the Republicans, we aren't even allowed to negotiate on the operating budget. You understand? The Republicans are not allowed in the room. When I tell some of my constituents that, they can't believe that. They can't believe that. So the operating budget that increased taxes, the Democrats, that we went to, $78 billion. It's all the Democrats' budget. But on the capital budget, we do get to negotiate. I mean, the Republicans, we have 2 people that negotiate for that. And that was the highlight of the session. We brought back $68 million to the 14th district. Really good projects like the Toppenish Jail. They were working out of portables. Toppenish Jail, the Grandview Jail, Sunnyside Swimming Pool. One big in my district, well, they all were, but the Yakima Nation, they had already bought a building to put a detox and a rehab center, and we got them $5 million to finish that. That is really big on the Yakima Nation Reservation, and so I'm very excited to see that one come to fruition. Right here, we're sitting in Wapato where we got $80,000 for some new soccer fields.
Yes.
So we got some really great projects, and that was good, $68 million, and we're going to continue to do that for our districts.
Well, and it's important too for people to know, securing money through capital budget for infrastructure, public safety, and the quality of life issues that sometimes Eastern Washington misses out on because of Western Washington. A lot of this money, these projects go to King County and the Puget Sound, but your delegation fought hard and secured a lot of money for this community, and the community, I'm sure, is very thankful.
They are. So we've been out, presenting all of those awards. Yes, some of those communities, they hadn't gotten something in a lot of years. So that was the highlight, and loved working with Gloria Mendoza to make that happen.
Yeah, and also, we're in, as you said, Wapato, and Wapato is beautiful. What a beautiful district. If I'm just some random visitor, where would I go in Wapato? What would you say I should go see?
In Wapato, we're a really small community. If you'll see behind me, we've got a gorgeous new high school.
Yeah.
The high school is phenomenal. And we have a couple more. We've got a elementary school that I went to school at. That's finally being a new construction building. If you come through the whole valley, as you drove in today, you saw,
Beautiful.
You're in Wapato, Toppenish, Sunnyside, Grandview, the wineries.
Yeah.
There is so much. We have lots of parks. Go see the wineries. My district goes all the way down to Mary Hill Museum.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So there's lots for you to do here.
Well, and what's great about your district is that it feeds the world. You have fruits and vegetables and wines that go all around the world. Sometimes when you're in Pike Place Market, folks forget where that food comes from, and your district helps feed those folks.
Absolutely. This is a really important point. Washington State gets a lot of press for Microsoft and Amazon and Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
But our economy is really fueled by the agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay, it is really fueled. And you go, well, I'm not a farm worker and I'm not a farmer. If you work in a hospital, if you work in the schools, if you work in any retail throughout, agriculture is what keeps your job going. Okay, it is very important. And so what I saw in Olympia from the Democrats is that they have forgotten where food has come from. And they continue to pass laws that's making it harder to grow food.
Right.
Harder to grow food. And actually, forcing businesses to leave our state, which equals the loss of jobs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fight very hard for agriculture. We need to recognize it as the basis for our state's revenue.
I totally agree, and investing in the ag community is really important. And you mentioned some of those bad policies, and one of the really bad policies that have impacted the agriculture community is gas prices, and has really impacted everybody in every community. But passing a huge gas tax hike to create probably the highest or among the highest gas prices in the nation can't be helpful in your community.
No, it isn't. If you see, as you drove in today, we drive to work, we take our kids to soccer, we like our cars, we drive to the grocery store, so we consume gas in our cars.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people that have electric cars, but the Democrats are not going to let them off scot-free either. They're going to charge them more.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a higher per mile gallon car, you're going to pay way more in your license fees. That'll be a surprise coming up to several people coming soon. But no, the gas tax, and when the Democrats pass that, there's an automatic 2% increase every year. So then we're going to come back to us in the legislature to vote yes or no. It's going to keep going up, and they don't have to answer to the voters.
Well, and that's an important point that I think it's missed sometimes, is that there was a huge gas tax increase, but then year after year, there's going to be an automatic increase that everybody's going to have to absorb. And not just everybody who buys gas, but every time you go to the grocery store, the prices are going to go up because it's going to cost more to bring goods in.
Absolutely. So we talked about agriculture, but we also need to talk about the transportation industry.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything, you think about it, that is in our grocery store or retail stores is delivered there by a truck that uses diesel.
Yeah.
Everything. That food doesn't get there without that. So, and we, once again, we're hammering our transportation industry too, forgetting the true effect it has on absolutely everything we buy and need, from toothpaste to tomatoes in our grocery store.
Yeah. Toothpaste to tomatoes, is that going to be the new tagline? I like it.
Could be.
I like that
Could
new
be.
tagline. House Democrats are passing taxes. Everything goes up from toothpaste to tomatoes.
There you go.
It's
I like
true.
it. I like it.
So, what do you hear from your community on some of the crime issues? I know that's still a concern for a lot of people because in Olympia, House Democrats really pass a lot of policies that choose criminals over victims. They're decriminalizing a lot of things from felonies to gross misdemeanors and misdemeanors. I know in some rural communities, their fear is that that's going to make it start creeping into their own communities. Have you been hearing that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, yeah, Yakima County we have a high crime rate. We absolutely do, fueled by drugs.
Yeah.
Fueled by drugs. If you remember the Democrats when they passed the no pursuit laws several years ago, that was horrific. All that was a get out of jail free for criminals. Thank goodness we came back and the Republicans were able to get the pursuit, allowing police to pursue criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, the general public doesn't understand all the laws that the Democrats have passed out of Olympia. They need to see how it affects their everyday life. So we need to, kind of going back to the drug abuse, substance abuse crisis that we have open air drug abuse is a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
You can be arrested for that. It is a misdemeanor. And a judge can keep you up to 180 days in jail. It is rarely used. I don't think it's used at all in King County, but that is available. And so when we look at this, it's jail or treatment, jail or treatment. I've had people that have gone to jail from being in a very bad drug addicted state and coming back saying, thank you, putting me in jail saved my life.
Yeah. Well, because it's their opportunity to get clean.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I think that's an important point. Now, I know you're looking forward to next year's legislative session. Can you tease a little bit about what you're working on and some of the issues that you really want to focus on in this short session?
Well, you're right. We need to change the Keeping Families Together Act. We need to do what the social workers are recommending because they're on the ground. We need to take their recommendations and change that law. That's one. And then along this line of getting more money moved over to these drug treatment facilities.
Yeah.
Every county needs to have it. We don't even know how many beds are available. There's no one doing an inventory of what beds are available at any point in time. That's just a data reporting, and we need to have the data to make good decisions. So those are a couple things that I'll be working on.
Okay. And one of the things, of course, is making sure your community knows how to reach out to you and share their views. I mean, one of the good things that has changed over the last few years is being able to have virtual meetings and being able to testify virtually. If your community members want to get a hold of you, like, how could they reach you?
If you just Google Deb Manjarrez, repetitive debmanjarrez.com, websites will come up, my legislative website. You'll be able to get in there. There's a phone number and there's also an email. Check my emails every day.
Well, Deb, thank you for having us here and welcoming us to Wapato, which is, again, just beautiful. Your whole district is amazing. And I encourage people, if you haven't been out to the 14th district, you got to do it. So it's beautiful. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Fix Washington podcast right here with Representative Deb Manjarrez in Wapato. And if you want to learn more about the House Republicans and our priorities, make sure you go to houserepublicans.wa.gov.
Fix Washington with Hannah Scott, a podcast from Washington House Republicans. Go to our website, houserepublicans.wa.gov. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube.